Well, good evening, friends. If you're here, you're most likely interested in hearing a book review about the great Dark Imperium novel series, Warhammer 40k books. They're lovely. Now, that's no need to just click off the video now. You heard they're lovely, but you need details. You want to hear about characters, you want plots. Most certainly, you want writing style. You want to know if this isn't just some random, pulpy, dime-a-dozen Warhammer series. Trust me, guys, it's not, and let's get into why it is one of the best Warhammer series you can get. Now, when you think Warhammer book series, you think Caiaphas Cain, you think Eisenhorn, you think the Horus Heresy, you think the Siege of Terra. But if you want a book series that carries forward the timeline of 40k, you're most certainly going to want this. You're going to want this not only because it is well written, but because the way it handles the lore, which is evolving. The Great Rift is open, the forces of chaos are spilling out. The Primarch who has arisen, Reboot Guilliman, is back. He's changed. He's no longer the Primarch that existed in 30k. The Ultramarines are no longer the faction you think they are. Ultramar is under threat by Nurglite forces. Guys, the setting is just ripe for good storytelling, and Guy Haley fits it. He gets it perfectly. Now, the series starts out with the first installment, Dark Imperium. It's at the ending of the Indomitus Crusade. All of that is being disbanded. Everyone's going home to their new chapters. The great characters in this first book are revealed. You have Reboot Guilliman, the Primarch whom I've mentioned, who is depressed about the state of the Imperium of man. He is just disgusted with it, and he's trying his hardest to remain chipper and upbeat. He's lonely, he wants a brother Primarch, and he's very fleshed out in this book. He is more interesting than any stereotype or meme that has been made about him. And the other Ultramarines around him, and the second founding Ultramarines, like the Nova Marines, are very fun as well. You get the characters like Justinian and Felix, and you have this wonderful new character who is basically the Pope of the Ecclesiarchy in the Warhammer world, and his name is Matthew. Matthew rides the line perfectly between a really caring, emotional man as well as a smart politician, but he's ultimately a big believer in the godhood of the Emperor of Mankind. Yet he's not like the stereotypical memed to hell Ecclesiarchy figure. He's not a radical. He is, but he is very human. The best way I can say about him is that he's very historical. He reminds me of a historical medieval saint of the Catholic Church who has a lot of real human emotions, like a Saint Francis of Assisi attached to a crusading knight. Very fun, and it's a perfect fit for the Warhammer 40k universe. He has some great conversations with Guilliman in the first book. It just propels the plot forward and puts some seeds of doubt in Guilliman's mind. Now, I've just given you the first book kind of introduction. This is a no-spoiler review, so you're going to want to just feed off of the information I give you and hopefully buy the books. The series is a medium rare. It is not too big, but not too short. The length of pages starts around 330 to about 430. So you're going to get Godblight being a little bigger and the first two being a little smaller. And the basic plot is that Nurgle and his forces, chiefly his Primarch lieutenant, Mortarion, and the demon Kugoth Plaguefather, are assaulting Ultramar. They want to put it into Nurgle's kingdom. They want to make it a jewel of his realm, and they're starting to destroy it. So Guilliman has to come back, have a defense of certain planets, he counterattacks, and ultimately, all of this comes to a big head with Guilliman attacking Mortarion in a big, great duel. It is awesome. So much fun. If you know what happens, you know what happens. But if you don't, certainly you're going to want to read this. Now, the characters are very well written. I can't think of too many characters who you really didn't care about or wanted gone. There's no annoying characters like some Warhammer series have created. I look at the bad guys, the Nurglite forces. They're a load of fun. They're described in truly what is a pulpy fashion, very juicy, wet, lots of ulcers, and they're very wicked, but they like to have fun. Kugoth is immensely, immensely enjoyable. He's like a big, grumpy neckbeard who just wants to kill the world. Mortarion is very edgy. Nurgle in general, you can't go wrong writing about them, and Guy Haley just explicitly describes their little festering creations. And they're a true villain, too. Very hard to beat. The good guys, ultimately the good guys, if you want to call them that, the Ultramarines and Ultramar in general, are not cheesing their way to victory. Guilliman may have the Emperor's sword, but it's a very difficult campaign ahead of them, and every battle that they win is close. There's no great big, bolter annihilations. There's a lot of good guys that you'll grow to love that are lost. The Astra Militarum and human characters aren't featured that frequently until the third book, Godblight, and you'll get to see some great, desperate charge of the Rohirrim type action in that book. You'll love it. It's stuck in my mind. I'll give you a little hint. Imagine in a festering world of Nurgle, plague, you see the charge of the Rohirrim taking place with Leman Russ tanks. It's beautiful, and it's really bad A. Now, the book has a few negative parts. Now, I get a little bored during the Belisarius Call chapters because those primarily feature what I don't like in sci-fi, an over-explanation of cogs and machines and whirling little batteries. I don't like that too much. You may be different, though, and you may enjoy it. But the action is awesome. It's not too repetitive. Great battle sequences, but the best part are the characters, and I've already mentioned those. You'll enjoy them. Another great part of this trilogy are the conversations. The conversations are chiefly about philosophy, theology, do gods exist? Now, that is a big crux of everything. Do gods exist? Will Guilliman believe in the deity that is his god? That is his father, rather. Very fun stuff. And it's done well. It's not like how you'd imagine a book series based off of a game to be. So ultimately, guys, I recommend this trilogy. They're very fun reads. They'll take control of your brain for a while, and you'll never forget some of the descriptions of those dirty Nurglite bastards. I most recommend it. 5 stars. The second book has a little bit of dragginess in it, but you'll be able to skim on past it because the Ultramarines are so much more fun. Guilliman is so much more fun than he used to be, not like the stereotypes and memes say. This book trilogy generally throws out the memes of Warhammer 40k and replaces them with interesting twists and turns and sort of brings it back down to earth. Not every ecclesiarchy figure is a raving lunatic. In fact, many of them are intelligent, Machiavellian politicians who yet truly believe in the Emperor as a god. Not every Grey Knight just kills everything with the Flamer or annihilates every person that's seen chaos. They're becoming much more human in a way that they want to protect people. Guilliman has this very nice effect on the setting where he's trying to make things grim light rather than grim dark, but he's ultimately failing. He's ultimately failing because the world is falling apart, the universe is falling apart, yet his presence inspires hope. There's a lot of miracles, there's a lot of Imperial saints. Read the books, guys. I'm overjoyed. I just finished reading Godblight about a week or two ago, and I loved it. I wanted to read more. I'm excited as to the continuation of the lore with the Arcs of Omen, but if you guys want to, of course, get up to pace, read these books. Don't listen to the naysayers. The Ultramarines are now fun. Guilliman is really fun, and the Ecclesiarchy is cool. Big thumbs up to the God Emperor and his one true religion. Bye, guys!